Welcome back to the Crochet Crowdles, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do the Tranquility Trinity Shawl. This is a pattern developed by my assistant Jeannie, and this is amazing, and it consists of 3 triangles that are put together in order to make this really great shape that you can see within her model that she's used. So what we are going to be using today is Caron Latte Cakes. Now this is using the modern granny technique, and when you pull it apart and you can stick your fingers through, but the latte yarn really hides these visually, the gaps, but you can actually see them as a crocheter, so it's not a big deal. For tutorial reasons I am going to be using Caron Chunky Cakes in order to make sure that you can see exactly where you're going to go today, and she's recommending 2 balls of velvet teal of the Caron Latte Cakes and a 6mm size J crochet hook. This is a generous size shawl of 90 inches across by only 20 inches deep, just like you see. So let's talk a little bit further about this project. So here's a smaller example of the modern granny done as a triangle, and it actually took her quite a few tries in order to get this because the interior here was actually curling, and so she's figured that out, and we will be showing you that on camera. So you have to get one completely done that has these loops left on the end, so every other row has that. Then what's going to happen is that you're going to add another one, and when you add that another one, you are going to do with the final round that you, final row that you have with these, you're going to connect it and join it, and then you're going to have a third one that will go, and you will have the beautiful shape. So today I'm going to show you how to get started. Make sure you get your first one done, and then I'm going to show you then the second, then how to join it, and then the third on how to join it as well. So let's get going and let's begin. So let's begin. We're going to create a slip knot, and we want to chain a total of 5. So I'm using Caron Chunky Cakes here with a 6mm size J crochet hook, and you will use the latte if you like her sample even better. So just chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I want you to go into the first chain, and we're going to double crochet 3 times into that first chain. So let's count out loud. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do our point down that is pointing, so you're going to chain 1 only, and back in that same one that you were just in, 3 more double crochets. So there's a lot going on in there. So 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, and you are going to place in 1 treble at the end of that. So wrap twice and treble into there. If you notice that we skipped over all those stitches when we started, so this one here is considered a treble. So let's turn our work and do row number 2. So row number 2 is the spacing that we need to create in order to have this look. So you're going to chain up 1, and you're going to go between the treble here and the first double crochet. Just go right in between and single crochet. Chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and jump over the next group of 3, and you happen to be in a point. So you're gonna single crochet in that point, and then chain 3 and single crochet in that point. So that keeps that point moving. Then chain 3, and we're now coming up to the other side. So you're going to go between the treble and the grouping of 3, just right in between, not into a stitch, and single crochet. Turn your work. You're going to move up then. So whenever you start, we're going to create these solid looking panels that you have. In order to do that, you chain up 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's considered a treble, and in the same one I want you to place in 3 more double crochets. This is kind of how we started, right, on being able to put that in there. Then go to the next chain 3 and place in 3 more double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. The next one happens to be a corner. So when it's a corner, I want you to place in 3 double crochets to start, chain 1 to turn, and 3 more double crochets again. And notice how I'm just turning the project naturally in my hands. So each of the points when you're on this particular row will be 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Move down into the next space, and there will be 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, and 3. Now you're not finished. The last single crochet will be 3 doubles, So 3 double crochet first, and then finish it off with a treble into the same spot. So wrap in the hook twice and treble. So that's all this particular idea is. So you turn your work, and now we're gonna create the spacing like you had already done before. So chain 1, go in between the space, then chain 3, and now just separate these groups of 3. You see how they're already kind of separated because of where they are in the row below. So go right in between them and single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet in the next group, between group, and then chain 3, and now you're going into the corner. So go right into the corner, single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. So chain 3 and keep moving. So coming between the next grouping of 3s, chain 3, and single crochet between the next grouping of 3s, and chain 3. And finally, when you get back to the end, you are going to just go in between the treble and the double with a single. So turn your work. So let's review one last time. So you're going to chain up a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That counts as a treble. And you were going to put 3 double crochets into the same single crochet. You're doing that so it stays flat on this edge, which is what you're looking for. Now in between all of these groupings here, you're going to place in 3 double crochets into each. So 1, 2, and 3. Come into the next group, 1, 2, and 3. Next group, 1, 2, and 3, and then you're gonna hit a corner. So the corners will always be the same when you're on this row. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. So I'm going to start down this side, but I'm gonna talk to you about something else as we go. So in between all these spaces, 3 double crochet. So this is not the finishing row that you would want if you were to finish this. So when you get to the row number 32 of the first one, you are gonna end up with those chains that create the gapping spaces. And so the first one that you want to do is that your row 32 will be the one with the chaining of 3, which I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. So once you get that grouping and filled in, the final stitch here is going to be 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3, and then a treble to finish it off. So you're going to go all the way to row number 32, which will be this final row that I'm about to show you. So it's the same thing as you already know. So you have to create a gapping space row and then fill it in. Gapping space, fill it in. So to finish off the very first one, you're gonna finish with the gapping space. So just chain up 1, go in between the treble and the double, single crochet, chain 3, and just separate the groups of 3 double crochets, and then chain 3 in between them. So you technically could go as big or as little as you wanted for your shawl to make it customized. If you would like to do a child size version, not make it as big, you can do that. And all you just got to do is think about this row that you're doing right now. So whatever you do and where you stop in this one, you're going to do the same with the other 2 as far as stopping before you get here. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then go in between the double crochet and the treble to finish. So this technically what would look like, and this is the wrong side of the project, and I can tell just because I'm an experienced crocheter, but when you look at it from this perspective, you can see the stitch work looks slightly different. So this will be how you finish block number 1 or triangle number 1, and you will have these loops. And now when we go to do block number 2, we're going to crochet all the way except for not doing the final one like this, because what we're going to do is that we're going to join it as you go so that there's no sewing involved. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now fast forward and do block or triangle number 2, and I'm going to just tell you just to do exactly what you just did now, but I'm going to join you up and I'm going to show you how to join that when you finally get to that round. So here's my triangle number 1. I have the loops already there. I have fastened off. I'm going to weave in my tails later. So what I want to do is that I want to turn it down so that the right side is facing down. So these here, when you were crocheting these blocks, have been the right side. So you want to face it so that the point is towards you. So I'm going to point towards me, and it's also upside down. So I'm looking at the wrong side of the project. So the right side is facing down with the point facing down. And then all I'm going to do then is that with the next one here is that when you get to the same one here, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna finish the second one off that it looks like this, but what I want to do is that as I'm going to work on it, I'm going to join it into this as I go. So let's show you how to do that. So I'm about to start. So this now is facing down, right side's facing down because I'm crocheting literally these loops. So the first time I go across this one, I'm going to create the loops as normal, but then when I come down this side, I'm going to be joining it into this project. So to start, it's just how you already know it as far as creating the one side. So chain up 1, single crochet into the gap, and then chain 3, and then coming into the next spacing just like you see. So your goal is to get yourself to the corner. And now you're going to now join it as you go. So let's begin to review that. So I've now almost finished my corner. So I've just single crocheted in when I left you. So now you're going to chain up 1, and now you're going to go to the top of the first single crochet that is existing over here. So you're just gonna go right into it and slip stitch, so pull through and through, chain 1, and come back down into the same corner on the first one. So now they're technically joined. So you're gonna chain up 1, and now you're gonna come into the first chain 3 space on the next one, and then pull through and through. So that is slip stitch, chain 1, and then come down to the next gapping space on the one you're working on. So chain 1 to the next gapping space over here, pulling it through, chain 1, and coming back in. So you just keep on doing that all the way across, and you're technically joining it as you go so you don't have to sew in later. So everything is just matching because they're the exact same size. And then I'm just coming to the gap over here and then chain 1. So I've just chained my 1 as I've just joined it to the last one here, and the very final one here is that I go into the final gap on this side and the corner gap on the other side, and pull through and single crochet 2 together, and then you're done. So then you can just fasten that off and then weave in your ends, and then these are technically all joined. Now the latte cakes really do showcase this yarn as far as like being really quite amazing. So this, remember, this is the back side of the shawl, so let's turn it over and see. It looks pretty awesome. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to continue then and join the third one. So let's learn how to do that. So once you get your third one done, again it's the same way, just getting your triangle to the same size and then leaving off so that you can just join these loops in on the final one of this one here. So what we have to pay attention to is that we have to use the wrong side of this project. So right now we're looking at the right side, and here see how it's kind of like looped over, so you can see that's the back side of the project. So we want to turn this over, and we want to just put it so that it's facing down just like this. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take our project that we have, and last time when we did it we came across and then we joined it. This time we are going to join it as we go right from the very beginning. So let's begin. Okay, let's begin. We're going to chain up 1 and we're going to single crochet in between this one here, but it's not just a single crochet, it's a 2 together. So you're just gonna go through, and then you're going to pick up the very bottom point space and pull through, and then pull through 2, and you've just done a single crochet 2 together. You're going to chain 1, and then you're gonna come to the opposite one over here, slip stitch, chain 1, and then come into the next space that's here. So you're just jumping across from each other. So chain 1, going around the next chain over here, chain 1, and come back into the next space. So you're joining it as you go here. And you keep doing that all the way down, just like you had done before already. And therefore you just go right to the final space, just like you see here. So just straight up, chain 1, going right into the final top space, single crochet, and then back in. Now you're going to continue then all the way around. So you're just gonna continue what you already know, so there's no more joining. So chain 3, coming into the space, chain 3, coming into the space, 1, 2, 3, and so now you've just joined it as you go without any sewing. So you're gonna have to use a tapestry needle to hide in the loose ends. So 1, 2, 3, and then coming right into the final space, just like that, and then you're good to go. So you can just pull that through, and then you're going to use a darning needle to be able to hide all of these loose ends, just like you see. And what we're going to do is just take this yarn and a needle that will hold it. And if you go back and forth in your project a total of 3 times, then you can just safely cut it and you don't have to worry about it. With the latte cakes, it's very easy to hide in that extra yarn as well. So just stay towards the outside, just like that. And if you go back and forth 3 times, you're good to go. And that's awesome, just like that. So then you can just safely trim it, so you can just use all your loose ends to do the same thing, and therefore they'll all be hidden. And so this is the wrong side of the project, so when you turn it over, this is the good side, and you can see that it looks really quite amazing. So this is a miniature version of that shawl. So what you can do for a border is that I'm going to join on new yarn, and you can decide to do the same thing if you wish. So very easy. You know how we did these chunks of 3 double crochets? Well, we can just start off in the first one. So Jeannie says not to fasten off in the end, because of course I don't follow instructions, so I did anyway. So chain 3 to get yourself restarted, and each one of these chain 3 spaces is each going to get 3 double crochets in each. Now you're gonna turn your project, and now these are the trebles. So when there's a treble involved, you're going to put in 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. So you're just gonna continue to move down. So this is obviously a treble because it's the side of there. So these chain 3s are only in the tops that you were working with back and forth. So 4 double crochets in each. So the 4 allows it to have the space so that it will sit flat when laying flat, but also looks better when you're wearing it as well. So just continue along then the one side with 4 double crochets in each, and I will see you at the first corner, and we'll turn and then we'll just work our way up the other side. So just jump right over and just go into the trebles. So I'm coming across the first corner, and I'm in a treble right now, so there's gonna be 4 double crochets there. And then I immediately just jump to the first one. So I'm just gonna turn my project and go to the first one over here, and you're going to put in 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, just like that. See, it kind of turns on its own. And now you're going to continue now, just put in 3 double crochets in each one of these spaces. These are the chain 3s that you've been working with, and you're gonna keep those as is. So just do that. So then once you get to the top, then you're back in the trebles over here again, and then coming back down and then back in the chain 3s, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming to the end of this round, which is the final round, and then you're just gonna slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3 that you'd started with, and then you're just gonna use a darning needle just to hide in this loose end. Again, just go back and forth like you normally would. So once you do that, I've already shown you how to do that. Then the other side is your good side, and this is what it would look like then if it was a miniature sample. And of course, because it's a miniature sample, the striping yarn doesn't look as effective as when it's done as a big sample. So if you look at the original model with the latte cakes, you can see how much better it looks because there's more distance to allow the yarn to really showcase its colors. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.